Husky fans, welcome in to our 6th edition of the fall here, NIU Weekly. I'm Andy Garcia, alongside the Associate Vice President and Director of Athletics at NIU, Sean T. Frazier. Sean, great to be with you again. And I know we've talked a lot about what's going on with Huskies Invest, but this week that started on Mondays, a big one as well, with the Week of Giving well underway. And we hope you've been able to go online to huskyathleticfund.com and help out and support. But if you haven't, there's still time, and we're hoping the fans can do that, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big week. And I got to say, just first off, thanks so much to the supporters of Husky Nation. They've been extremely engaging. Calls, texts, it's just been good to see the amount of support. It doesn't shock me because I've been here a while now. So I've been able to see our passion and what we do, but it's been great to see the interaction, the excitement, obviously the return with football happening here soon. All of it's coming together, and I can't express how thankful that we are in NIU and NIU athletics, that we've got supporters like we do.
Yeah, again, huskyathleticfund.com. to support a Week of Giving, part of the Huskies Invest. And again, all the money goes to the student athletes and the programs. And that's big. And as you said, we're less than 2 weeks away now from football. And we've got the first 2 dates and times set. ESPN2 on the first game. And I know the fans can't be there, but they can still be a part of it. Don't forget, you've got the cutout board program. You can be out there. Time's coming up, though. If you want to be part of the cutout board in Husky Stadium for the first game, the deadline is next Monday. It's Monday, October 26th. Go to NIUHuskies.com, upload a photo, $60 virtually. You'll be in the stands at Husky Stadium. So that is coming up on Monday if you want to be part of the Husky fan cutout program. We got to talk to 2 coaches today. We talked offense with NIU football last week. We're going to talk defense this week with defensive coordinator Derrick Jackson. Looking for that and looking forward to that. And also a little men's golf. We're going to talk to head coach John Carlson about how his program has been since everything stopped in March. And now they're trying to make somewhat of a fall schedule, and he'll talk a little bit about that as well. Looking forward to that. So let's get into it, and let's bring in Husky, the defensive coordinator, NIU football, Derrick Jackson, as he joins us now on NIU Weekly. Derrick, great to have you on, Coach. I know now under 2 weeks to play before you get ready for Buffalo on a Wednesday night, November 4th. And how's the defense coming along? Youth, we're going to see a lot of youth, but I know, 1, you're excited to get the guys on the field, play another team, and 2, get out there and just see what the youth and see how this team can mix up, right?
Yeah, I think things are going awesome for us. So, we just had our first, or at least last, kind of major scrimmage before the lead up into Buffalo. Probably got in about somewhere between, I think, 65 snaps and probably some situational football that probably got us somewhere around 100, opportunities to evaluate these guys. And as you said, I think we've got a great mixture of some veteran leadership on our team at some key positions, but we're going to have a ton of new faces out there running around that are remaking names for themselves. But it's been exciting as coaches. It's a ton of energy. I think in the current climate, to where, as you're looking at the game of football, where really the teams that are able to kind of create their own energy, create their own enthusiasm, find ways to stay excited, are the teams that are looking like they're having a lot of success out there. And our guys have certainly come out. We were at 6 a.m. this morning. It's kind of been the norm for us now, which a lot of people are still just waking up and wiping the sleep out of their eyes. Our guys are running around with as much energy as I've seen from teams that are going at 3 in the afternoon or like it was a nighttime game.
Let's talk about the D-line. We'll start there. And we know about Weston Kramer. He's one of the names we know. But I'm really looking for more playing time with Damon Taylor, James Esther. Those are just 2 of the names I think Husky fans are going to know more this season. But what can you talk about with the D-line and some of the names we should know about?
Well, I think on the inside there, Kramer's been a staple for 3 years now in the program, and expecting big things from him this year. James Esther and Damon Taylor both played in 4 games for us last year. Were able to keep their redshirt year, but played in some significant games. Both played against Utah, Vanderbilt, and Nebraska, so played against 3 Power 5 teams. Did some nice things for us, but I think they've both taken a step forward. Probably going to have an opportunity to see, 1 or maybe both of them, competing to be starting. We had a 3-man rotation last year, kind of at the starting position inside, and those guys are going to compete to do that. Jeff Griffin had played for some last year, so got some meaningful game experience. I think he's had an outstanding fall camp thus far and flashed. And then we had another young man yesterday, Miles Baggett, had probably his most productive practice for us, did some great things out there. So we've got, I think, a large number of bodies to throw at people. It may not be a ton of experience, but I think it's a lot of athleticism. It's going to be guys who are disruptive in nature, which hopefully creates some more negative opportunities for us, which is what we need and what we try to kind of build our hat around. On the perimeter is kind of where it's really we're going to be unknown. You're going to see some young guys. Rasheen Thomas for us is a freshman, true freshman. That's probably about 6'4", 255, 260. Has a wingspan of about 80 plus inches that I think brings a different dynamic than we've had here, at least in our first season, and looks more like a guy that you see in a lot of Power 5 schools in terms of body type and frame. You got another young man, Pierce Opong, that's about 6'3 and a half, 6'4", goes about 250 plus as a true freshman as well. That's going to be playing, I think, lion's share of reps out there for us. Have a young man, Hogan's, which I think what's interesting about him, he had played some Mike linebacker here prior to us coming here. We had kind of transitioned him down to defensive end. He's a guy that brings, I think, a lot of intelligence to the position, brings some athleticism from a linebacker standpoint. Has got his weight up from, I think, 225 when we got here. I think Cortez currently weighs somewhere in the 245, 250 range, but he gives us some position flexibility because he can play on the line of scrimmage, off the line of scrimmage. And then we've also got some guys like Reggie Jennings, who was a former linebacker, Caleb Wright that came in the program. I think with some linebacker background, guys that have now matured and kind of grown into the 240, 250 range. So it's just, I think, a position where we're going to throw a lot of numbers at people, a position where we may have some, I think, lack of experience, but we have some youthful guys that have athleticism and some tools different than what we had maybe the first season when we got here.
Yeah, so Coach, to talk a little bit about that, a little mixture on your linebacker core, some new guys, some guys that have been here. Talk a little bit about your backers.
Well, we're praying this year we can keep them healthy. Last year we thought we inherited what might be the best position group in the league, and then you start with Kyle Pugh was off to a great start for us, got injured, and so only really saw him for 2 games, but was a guy that probably was a all-conference caliber player before we got here, probably would have been all-conference player last year. I think he's going to have a chance to be a guy very similar to Firm for us a year ago that has a chance to be a dominant player at that position in our conference at linebacker. We have Lance DeVoe back. He had got hurt in preseason camp. He was a guy that had actually played the year before we got here that was slated to be a starter for us, who, again, we thought was going to be a potential all-conference caliber player. So he was a guy that was flying around the last 2 weeks. He's the healthiest he's been since we've been here. So he gives us, again, I think, some senior veteran leadership and also playmaking ability. And then we've got a young man, Nick Ratine, that probably, came out of nowhere and did some tremendous things for us last year. He played some Mike linebacker, some outside linebacker, both positions. Came in as a walk-on that we really thought was more of a safety body type and developed, and really had like a battlefield adjust kind of a promotion throughout the season. Ended up having a tremendous season. He's going to anchor the middle linebacker position for us. So you've got 3 veterans there. And then when you look at the core guys behind them, we've had a young man, David Rayner, that he was at the scrimmage yesterday, flashed as well as any kid I've seen in terms of being a 6'3", 210-pound athlete that can flip his hips, can rush. He's very sinewy, so he can kind of find those cracks that sometimes it's hard to get linebackers who can slip blocks but still have physicality to play them with their hands. Have a young man, Tristan Tavis, that's playing the middle linebacker position. That's probably about 6'3", 240, a little bit bigger body type than Nick Ratine. That brings a different physical presence to the group. And then we got another young man, Eddie Jackson out of Florida, that's a true freshman that really made some splash plays. That, again, it's going to take some time for, I think, it was physical development to happen, but he's got some tools that will, I think, bring a flashback to people of kind of what Antonio Davis was here, that all of a sudden the people are going to get excited about. So I think we've got a lot of guys between the veterans and the young guys there that can do things for us. And then you got a young man like Jordan Cole that's still in that position group that productively, I think, led us in our TFLs and behind the line of scrimmage play. So, we've got to think, again, numbers to throw at people, and especially in a shortened season, we're going to try to take advantage of that by giving people a lot of different looks with those guys.
Yeah, the linebacker core is legit and it's got depth. That's going to be fun to watch them this year. You get to the back end, you got the safeties and the cornerbacks, the coaching that you do most. It's youth. I mean, there can be times probably we see true freshmen all around with the safeties and the cornerbacks. It's going to be experience. They're going to gain it very quickly. But I know you like that talent back there.
Yes, it's probably why my hair got gray so fast. That's what my wife says. It's a lot of young kids, and it's fun because, it takes you back to kind of what makes coaching so enjoyable is, every day is kind of a new learning experience for these guys. You're taking baby steps, really Dylan Thomas at corner is the only guy that really has gainful experience for us, and he was a guy that was a safety for us last year, moved to corner, did some great things for us. Then you're going to have it at J.D. Harris, who was banged up a little bit last year that we expected some big things from. So he's got a chance to play, did some real nice things in our scrimmage, which excited us, kind of played the way we thought that we were hoping he would develop into. Have another young man, Justin Marchforce, who, again, Zemaine March, who the great thing about Zemaine is he started our Nebraska game, I believe it was week 3 last year, kind of really been a special teams role player, but has starting experience to where that position at the field corner, we have a lot of guys that I think, again, by numbers, we can put in a position, a lot of guys that have some game experience, and a lot of guys that where, again, we don't have to worry about in a shortened season. The injuries kind of hurt us last year where we went through a lot of guys at the corner position, which was a challenge. At our boundary corner position, where, again, we're looking for guys that probably a little bit more size, a little bit more length. Again, more balls get thrown into the boundary than any place else, so they get challenged. We've got really 3 guys. We've got a young man, Gandy, who transferred for us to San Diego State, that probably has been as competitive as any kid we've had since we've been here at that position. I mean, every ball that gets thrown, he's somewhere around it, either challenging it, hitting it, or finding a way to be disruptive, which is what you want at that corner position, and that's his mentality, which is great. We've got Miles Mcgee, a true freshman for us out of Georgia, that again, at the scrimmage yesterday, probably had his most confident day, but also his most physical day. And that was, I think, the turning stone for us, seeing a guy turn the corner and, again, not be a cover corner, be a complete corner. He started to show flashes of what we wanted there. Have another young man out of New Jersey, Eric Rogers, that, again, it's kind of been tweaked, banged up a little bit, but when he's been out there with us, he's probably 6'1.5", 6'2", about 175 pounds, kind of has the body type, the length, tremendous speed, athleticism, to where he gives us another bigger body guy in that boundary. So, again, we got on the perimeter, I think, more guys maybe with a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more length to kind of fit the scheme that we want to play and be a little bit more aggressive with this year. At safety, it's going to be interesting because we really don't have anybody other than Josh Earl that took a snap in our defense. So he played, I think, 40-plus snaps last year, most of his special teams. Right now, we've got a young man, Jordan Hanson, out of Hershey, Illinois, that it really was a quarterback in high school. We loved him in camp. He's come in here. He's picked up the scheme. He's got tremendous off-ball skills. So, again, balls in the air, he can track it, he can find it. He plays in the box with a lot of physicality. My brother was at Stanford back when John Lynch was playing, and that kind of who he reminds me of a guy that was more of a cerebral player, but then has a lot of athletic tools that'll probably get overlooked, but can really do everything at our whip position, which is more of our box safety, which McKelty Williams played last year. We've really got 2 guys, Devin Lafayette, a kid out of Georgia, that is a true freshman, and another young man, C.J. Brown, that's out of Detroit, Michigan. That those 2 guys are battling it out to be a starter for us. That both tremendous physicality, high IQs from a football standpoint. They can play in the box. They can play out of the box. So those 3 guys, in some way, shape, or form, we're kind of working through will probably be the guys that are playing the meat of the reps for us. And then you have a guy like Josh Earl, who, again, although he was maybe more of a special teams guy last year, he's done some great things. I said he had his best scrimmage for us, had, I think, 4 tackles, in very limited role or limited plays yesterday, but flashed some physicality better than what he had done in the past, to where I think we've got probably, 4 guys in that back end that we're really going to be able to kind of move and manipulate, put in kind of the situations that play to their strengths a little bit more than last year. We kind of really only just had 2 guys that really played almost every snap for us at the positions, between Foster and between McKelty. And then we got some down the line guys in a Jaden Dolphin and a Tyreek Henderson, who I think, again, are young guys that are still developing, where we've got, I think it's 1 sophomore, 4 true freshmen, and then 1 redshirt freshman in that group. So it's going to be, again, a lot of youth, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, and we just got to make sure we do a good job of protecting them by making the game not be too overwhelming for them once they're out there on the field.
Listen, I'll have my numerical roster. I'll make sure I know who these new guys are, but I know you're excited about the talent. I know you're excited to get everybody on the field, and we're looking forward to what this defense will be like. 6 games. It's not a marathon, it's a sprint, and we're looking forward to it, Coach. I appreciate the time.
No, thank y'all for having me.
All right, that is Derrick Jackson, defensive coordinator, NIU football. Really good information there, Sean, as we go from football to golf. Who wouldn't want to be on a golf course right now, Sean? In Florida, Arizona. This is the guy. I mean, he makes the trips. Hawaii. I know those are tough decisions when you got to make golf schedules, John. When you got to go to those, you got to go down to where the golf is played in Florida and Hawaii. I'm just making fun of it. I wish we all could do it, but it's good to have you on NIU Weekly. And I know your schedule got crazy. You guys we were down in March in a PGA tournament. The team was down watching the PGA tournament. You get what happens. You guys have to come home. Everything's done with. But talk about where your team is from in March to where you are right now in October.
Well, it's been challenging. It was my first year last year, and to have it cut short, and then to, have the decision, made for us that our fall was also going to be canceled from a team travel perspective. It's been a lot of psychology with the guys. It's been a lot of trying to continue to build the culture, which was already good, but to continue to, change expectations. And through that, we have to continue to compete. So we've been able to develop a fall series inter squad that we have played great golf courses, kept the practice intensity high, and really had so much fun as a team. These guys have been introduced to places that are private to most, and certainly have welcomed NIU golf.
Expand on that fall, because even one of those tournaments you're going to be a part of was that Rich Harvest Farms Intercollegiate. Would have been a really big tournament, but expand on what you've been able to do with the schedule this fall.
Well, I came up, with a creative idea along with a partner, a donor with Heidi Wealth Management, and we put together 5 fall series events, stroke play, match play, which has taken us, to, like I said, to places like Black Sheep, Chicago Highlands, Rich Harvest Farms, and we've also been able to really, with this series, been able to introduce 8 new donors and sponsors to our program, and thank goodness for them. We certainly are going to be able to have a better spring and a better years ahead because of sponsors like Bettinardi Golf and Sherman Plastics and, Wilson Golf this weekend, along with Scientel Solutions, and just new donors to NIU Athletics and NIU Golf. And with that, we've seen some great play. Jordan Less is certainly one of the best players in the conference, and he's proving that week in and week out now as we compete in the fall series.
Sean?
Yeah, so that's a lot, John. You've done a great job in a short amount of time, and we really appreciate that. So what does that mean? At the end of the day, we're in Huskies Invest. We're talking about, some of the unique private courses in the country, and then for us to have access to that. Now, I'm no golfer. Folks know that. But I do know competition, and I would say that what you're doing and how you are putting our student athletes in a position to be successful is quite significant. Maybe elaborate on that part of it and what that donations and that support means to your program.
Well, that's a great question, Sean. I think when I look at trying to enhance the student athlete experience at the collegiate level, um, first you have to look at what all the highly ranked national programs are doing, and they are out competing at the best venues. They're building relationships within their own community, and that's what I really first and foremost wanted to try to give back to our players. There are a lot of alumni and many that I meet in the golf circle every day that graduated from Northern Illinois. And through the help of Jerry Rich out at Rich Harvest Farms, he has really collaborated with me and Ryan Sedevy, our sport administrator and athletic director that oversees our program. With their help, we've been able to really connect our program in a very unique way this fall. And mainly just keep the excitement level high when our players know that they can't travel as a team. And I'm thrilled for what we are doing going forward. Also, from a competitive perspective, we're building experience from sleeping on the lead and maybe losing the lead in these tournaments, and also stringing together 5 birdies in a row to shoot a really good score at a hard golf course, maybe on a windy day. And we're going to need those experiences as we go into a really tough spring schedule where we're going to face the likes of Ohio State's tough golf course. We're going to go to Texas A&M. We're going to play at Iowa. We're going to play at the MAC championship. And I feel like I was brought here for a reason. I want to change the winning culture at Northern Illinois Golf. And I need the help, though. I have had a great support staff with Coach Frame and collaborating with our women's golf coach, Kim Kester. It's been truly a great experience for me so far. And so, Sean T., I thank you for that opportunity.
Fantastic. Great.
So to end up, just what excites you about this roster and what excites you about the upcoming schedule?
Well, as you can see by my bravado, I'm very excited about the returning players that were able to be given another year back in the spring. That's really exciting to me. Jordan Less, as I've mentioned before, it goes without saying, he wins very regularly, which doesn't happen in golf very often. But we were also able over the offseason to recruit and add one of the top transfers in the country from Grand Canyon University, Reese Nielsen, and he's already made an immediate impact. He's going to make an immediate impact and a long-term impact. And I don't want to also forget some of the other big stars on our team: Tommy Dunsire, Michael Mattis, Russell Matos, Zach Place. We really have the deepest lineup that we've had in a while. But we also need those guys at the top that are really going to lead us into competition and not be kind of wide-eyed in every venue we go. Hopefully we have some experience under our belt that we're gaining this fall. And I really look for us to contend for a MAC championship this year. And I wouldn't say that if I didn't have the team assembled, with us.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the time. Again, we wanted to bring you on, talk a little golf, but also what it means with the week of giving, why it's so important, and we appreciate that. And look forward to seeing your team come together. I know you got some of the fall stuff happening, and hopefully the spring season goes well.
Thank you very much for having me on.
No problem. That's John Carlson, head coach, men's golf at NIU, as we wrap things up, Sean. And I do want to go back to the week of giving in Huskies Invest, because one thing, addition to what you can support the NIU programs, you can also support NIU recreation. You can support the club sports this year, and also the Husky Marching Band, along with the unrestricted fund and the COVID-19 relief efforts. And that's something that is also going to help those programs that's much needed. And I want to make sure I brought that up, Sean.
Absolutely. We've expanded our portfolio in NIU athletics thanks to the leadership of our president, Lisa Freeman. The Husky, obviously the Husky band, our direct sport division is all together. We're all in one boat together. And that basically means that we want to make sure that we add them to our portfolio for those who want to give to those two operations. So very important for us. And they do such a great job for not just our student athletes, but for all of the students at NIU. So there's another special need there that we want to make sure we amplify.
Again, huskyathleticfund.org huskies.com. Support the week of giving. Support the Huskies Invest. Want to thank our guest today, Derrick Jackson, defensive coordinator, NIU Football, and John Carlson, the head coach of men's golf. Sean, another great show, informative show. Again, under 2 weeks to football. Looking forward to that, and can't wait to be with you again next week and talk more NIU athletics.
Thanks a lot, Andy. Appreciate it.
For Sean T. Frazier, I'm Andy Garcia saying thank you for watching NIU Weekly. We'll talk to you next week. Go Huskies.